And we are back, folks. Pre-race interview for CCC with the great Hemmings, Eli Hemming, Tabor Hemming, the ranch hands from Kremlin, Colorado. How we doing, team?
Oh, we're doing great. We're just kind of getting over the jet lag, and we actually got to see the mountain today. We got in on Tuesday, and it's been rainy and cloudy since.
Yeah.
So I was questioning if there was a mountain there.
Yeah. And sure enough, there is.
Sure enough, there is a very large
very
mountain
large
there.
mountain.
Yes.
And it is a beautiful sunny day here in the valley. Tabor, say hello to your fans. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. Glad to be here. Yeah. Just as Eli said, getting over the jet lag, but soaking in the lower elevation. It feels nice. Like we get free vert here because next thing you know, you've done a run. You're like, oh, there was 4,000 feet. Whereas at home, I feel like you know that you've climbed 4,000 feet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, awesome. So your second time, Sarah, and it's the beginning of a long trip. We're going to come back and talk about that. You're both doubling CCC to the World Championships next month. But maybe launching into it, let's just start with last year's race as a tale of 2 days for you both. Eli, you freaking won OCC, dude. A world final event. Tabor was like so in the mix till late in the race where unfortunately succumbed to a DNF. Maybe Eli, we'll start with you. Maybe bring us into those last 10 miles where I know you were really suffering. Remind the audience, how the race went and how you were able to dig deep in that moment.
Yeah. So, OCC went very well, but it was also a very much an almost really bad day. Yeah. Definitely the highlight of my day was actually seeing you out there and you're running along with me and then you're yelling, Tabor's winning too. Yeah. And that definitely gave me a boost. But yeah, going in last 10 miles, I was just kind of running back and forth with Remy Bonnet. We had made our way to the front of the race. We caught Christian Allen, who was an early flyer. Yeah. And then going up the Col de Bomb climb, kind of the one of the longest climbs of the race, I saw I had a little gap on Remy. Got very excited because it's not easy to drop Remy Bonnet on a climb. So I pushed really hard, definitely too hard. And it made my race, but it also almost broke my race. Yeah. So I got up to the top of Col de Bomb with good gap. Remy actually later pulled out in the race. But I then went up and over top and then descending into the valley, it just started getting hotter and hotter and hotter and get to the bottom of the La Flégère climb, that last climb, and I am cooked. And so I kind of almost nearly crawled my way up that climb. I think I lost 7 minutes to the guys behind me.
That is crazy.
I at the bottom of La Flégère, somebody told me I had a 10-minute gap. And yes, at the finish, I had maybe a 3-minute gap. And so it was almost terrible, but actually a really good day.
Narrow miscalculation, but you made it happen, man. And what a freaking day. What an accomplishment. Tabor, I remember also at Col de Bomb, of course, Eli was ahead of you. So you were in the mix there, like literally in, podium or winning contention there. And I said to you, Eli's in the lead. Let's go. Share your side of the story here.
Yeah. So we both came in with the same goal of we were like, okay, we're going to really throw our hats in the ring here and give it everything we got. And we believed that we could win. And so, I put myself up front early, felt like, why not see what I got going here? And felt really good through Triant. And then I was leading up to that point. And then Judith, Mao Yao, and Sarah Alonso, we all kind of grouped together and we're working up that climb. And then Judith pulled out her mom's strength and power hiked away from us on Col de Bomb. And so Mao Yao went and then Sarah Alonso went. And then I was like, well, I can't let this move go. Yeah. Like, this is the race. Yeah. And we had talked about that beforehand, that we had looked at past race history and been like, where is the move made? Where is that winning spot happening? And the year before, there had been a different climb on Col de Bomb, but 2 years prior, they had done the same climb. And so, a move was made, and there's a technical bit on the top of Col de Bomb. And Sarah Alonso started speeding her way. And, Eli said, be smooth over that section. And I kind of heard that in the back of my head, but I was like, there's the race. So I was not smooth. Ended up taking a pretty bad slip, and I had already herniated a disc in my back earlier and just re-aggravated that. I'm like, I'm fine. Like, just run it off. You'll be good. Saw you at the top near Col de Bomb. You gave me a lot of motivation and like, you're like, Eli's winning. And I was like, I got to finish this thing. And then was running down towards Latour, and I was like, yeah, this is not happening. So learned a lot. But I think it helped knowing that like on a perfect day, I can be up there. And so that was pretty cool. Yeah. And so it was a family win, even though I didn't finish.
Hell yeah.
Like a great day.
Hell yeah. Family win. And it's been the opposite. I mean, at Canyons this year, we had our post-race podium interview, and Eli, unfortunately, had a bad one. I mean, that's the nature of being a pro athlete, especially when you guys are taking big swings on a very regular basis, as we all know you like to do. All right, so let's talk about why CCC this year. It seems like to me you guys have very intentionally made this the year to step up in distance, and CCC has been basically the target of the last 12 months. Tabor, let's start with you. How have you guys thought about it and talked about it as a team? Why was this the right time?
Yeah, so I've definitely been curious about the distance, but also I think there also should be like a very respectful fear of it because there's a lot that goes into it. And I also didn't want to move up too fast to a long distance because I think there is a lot to be gained from starting in the sub-ultra space because you learn how to move through so much terrain quicker. And I think it creates a really good skill set for that. And I think you miss that if you just go straight to an ultra. I think it's nice to have the knowledge of tackling terrain at a fast pace. And after last year and then earlier this season, we were playing with some longer stuff and I was really enjoying it, but I still was eyeing OCC. And then some life things occurred and I needed running more as like a emotional outlet. And so I knew what it took to train for OCC. And I wasn't in the headspace to want to do that type of training. I needed to go spend just time on the trails, not thinking it was necessarily training and more thinking of it as a spiritual journey in a way.
Wow. This is the year of spirituality here in our pre-race interviews. Keep going.
Think a lot of people have had epiphanies this year.
Myself included. Yes. This is great.
And so training was really trending in the trajectory of something that was longer. And so we just said, you know what? You're already qualified for OCC next year. Why not try it? And so, yeah, I'm going to try it. See how I like 12 plus hours of racing.
Let's go. Eli, same question to you. And what I would especially love to hear, just like looking at your race results for the last couple of years, it's just like, wow, amazing. 5th place at JFK, your first 50 miler, 4th place at Black Canyon. Both, I mean, not terrible results, right? Like not awful, but not Eli Hemming style results. So it was sort of like not a spectacular introduction to longer distance racing. So build on what Tabor's saying, like, why was this the right year for you to have this experiment? And what have you learned so far as you've stepped up?
Yeah. So kind of when Tabor and I came into trail running, I'd say that it was kind of doing it together, having a lot of fun and just seeing what we like. Like it's not something that we necessarily came into looking for a career, like something that we found. Like, yes, we found a sponsor. We found that we can actually make money doing this, but we came here for fun. And we said, well, let's try things and see what we like. And I always kind of knew that I liked the longer stuff. I like the idea of the longer stuff. I love the training for longer stuff. But definitely my weakest link in everything is looking ahead and planning ahead. So I've used my lovely wife here as my planner and to help me with this race. Kind of JFK was kind of its own thing. I was struggling with a bit of issues and after OCC, kind of that overheating. So after OCC, I couldn't run for like a month because I got so hot that every time I ran, I would get nauseous.
Really?
Yeah. So kind of cooked myself there. So pretty much she was doing CIM. She was doing a marathon block.
Okay.
Eli was my pacing bitch. It was incredible.
I just did her training for that. I was not prepared for JFK. And so like coming into that, it was like, let's see what happens. Like, I don't know. Black Canyon, on the other hand, I actually trained for, and I was like ready for that. I was very fit for that. And it was purely just, I was not prepared, for every occasion. And again, the heat got to me.
I mean, you still ran 7:35, like a basically course record time. So
it was definitely like an okay day, but there was a moment there. I was standing on the side of the trail with my ice bandana turned around, eating ice out of my ice bandana. Like it was, I had some very low moments in that race. It was,
it's the first time I've ever heard that.
It worked. I got back to running and it was okay. But it was, I definitely just learned a lot in those first two races of, there's a lot more preparation. I think I've gotten away with, I'm very good at getting fit. So I can get away with a lot in 50Ks and 4 or 5 hour races. Something longer, I need to be a little bit more prepared for.
Right. So it's more about execution than it is about fitness and talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Really interesting. All right. So let's talk about your seasons so far. Maybe Eli, we can start with you. As I said, 4th of Black Canyon, 1st of the Big Alta, Desert Rats you won. Also, you won Broken Arrow 46K in a great race. How are you feeling about the season so far as you're building towards this jump up in distance?
Yeah, I think the season's gone really well. We kind of focused on a little bit more high intensity stuff earlier. And then kind of this last block has just been focused on, let's make the body durable. And I think that's all that we've done is, I know the output's there, and now I hope that the durability is there as well. Okay,
so extend on that, because you just said, I love the training for this longer stuff.
Yes.
What's it looked like?
So one of my favorite things, I asked Scott Jurek, what's something that I need to do for long races in training? And he's like, you need to do back-to-back long runs. Like, I can do long.
Yes,
I like
sir.
long runs. Yes, sir. You know what you're talking about. I will absolutely do some back-to-back long runs. And I've done a few in the past, but we got to the point this block that we're basically doing like 4 long runs a week.
Nice.
We were basically focusing on specificity. So we were doing back-to-back long runs twice a week, and then the rest of it was focused on recovering from those. So we're in 4 days, we were putting in 20 hours of running, and then the rest of the week was basically nothing. Yeah. So it was really tire out the body and then recover massively.
All right. Tabor, I want to hear the same thing from you, but just to remind our audience, you won the Big Alta 50K, Desert Rats also, 2nd of the Canyons 50K, DNF'd at Broken Arrow. Was that the last time you raced?
Self-control.
There you go. All right. So you could speak about that, but yeah, I'd also love to hear, as part of this like back-to-back long runs thing, to the extent to which you guys are also putting in sort of specific efforts, intensity, things like that. But talk about your season too.
Yeah, I think like the season has been good. I wouldn't say there's any outstanding things in there that like are the shining star, but I think that's kind of how I want it to be, is it's just been good, unsexy work put in. And the A goal this year is definitely to come here and be healthy and fit and mentally ready to like give it all that you got for that long. And yeah, I think the biggest thing is how much we became specific just for this race and learned that maybe it's not so much the speed aspect. Like we did a lot of that in the winter. Like I worked on like marathon and half marathons on the roads. And so like I spent 6 months doing that. I didn't think I needed to carry that any further. I'm kind of tired of doing VO2 max stuff.
Yeah.
And so when Eli was like, we could do like, some 7 to 5 hour runs, I was like, that sounds fantastic. We also started using poles.
I was going to ask. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. So Eli sucked at the beginning. I think the Nort skiing background really came in clutch here for me. But we've been enjoying them. Now we kind of are like, we don't want to go on a run without them. We were doing our run today.
Look at you. It's
we're just conforming to the full ultra. Here we are. We wear the gloves and everything. So, I think that's been something that's changed in training. But then just dialing in the small things. Like fueling and being just, I think it's more of crossing the T's and dotting the I's on this distance.
Build on the comment of self-control. DNF'ing at Broken Arrow. How'd you bounce back from it?
I'll be honest, that was like a moment that I told Eli, I'm like, I'm done running. Like, I'm terrible at this. But it was just ended up just being a lot of life stress that I just kind of pushed away for like quite a few months. And I was like, nothing ever pops up when you race. Like, no. And it did. And so I think that was a sign that it was like, it's okay just to train. You don't have to race all the time. Racing is fun. Camaraderie is fun. But sometimes just getting in a good training hole is really good as well. And so, we put off doing some races to have that payoff. And so we did get asked to come to quite a few races. And we did say no to quite a few races, which was not easy, but I think it got us in a good spot here. Yeah. And we're like hungry to race now.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, a good learning here in the early phases of your career too. Like, when it is stressful, things outside of running, it shows up on the race course, especially when you race at the volume that you guys do. Yeah. I mean, you both have had great seasons so far. And, I know this is the culmination of a lot of hard work. Eli, I need to ask you about Western States. You paced your buddy Chris Myers there. Tell me if there's any fun, entertaining stories from being out on the trail, but also like you had a front row seat to one of the great 100-mile performances ever.
Yeah.
Whether it makes you curious about that stuff too.
I mean, it does not make me curious about Western. I don't know if I want to do that. Really? Here's that. I'll do it eventually, but it will come after many other hundreds.
Yeah, okay.
No, it was absolutely amazing being there with Chris. Absolute front row seat. Other people may have been a little bit more surprised than I was. I had been doing plenty of training with him, and I knew exactly how fit he was. Yeah. And it was great seeing, like, even just sitting down, getting ready for his pre-race briefing with all of his crew. He's like, we're going to go for it. I was like, hell yes. Yes. He's like, I don't care what happens, but we're going to put our head in it. We're going to put our nose in it and absolutely go for it. It was, such a fun thing to be a part of. There's not a whole lot better way to watch the race. As far as like anecdotes during the race, there wasn't too much chatting. He was when I was pacing him, that was kind of one of his lower spots.
Was that you took him on Cal Street, didn't you?
Yeah, so I took him down from Forest Hill down to Rucky Chucky. Yep. I would say the best part was, when I knew that he had second place on lock, and I was like, first place is in danger. We were running into Rucky Chucky, and we kind of joked about the whole snorkel thing, and everybody was saying like the whole crew was like, he's in second place. Like, we can't do the snorkel. We can't do the snorkel. And I'm like, he's going to do the snorkel. And so I look at him I'm going to give him the option, and I will go grab the snorkel for him if he wants it. 'Cause they were not going to offer it to him. I was the one to have to offer to him. So I look over at him. I'm like, all right, so tell me, how silly do you want to be today? And he just gives me this stupid grin. I'm like, all right, I'll grab you your snorkel. He had to run with he ran with that in his hand all the way up to Green Gate.
Iconic moment. Tabor, back to you. This women's race at CCC is one of the races of the weekend. I don't know how close you look at the start lists and stuff, but we've got like the past three champions are all racing, and then a bunch of really interesting athletes who can clearly contend to win. So it's kind of an interesting mix of experienced athletes and like new, younger, up and coming, very talented athletes. I could see you taking it in two different directions, right? You guys both race a lot. You both like to be near the front. This is a new experiment for you in terms of a racing distance. So you could take it as like, oh, let's learn, gain some experience, try and have a solid one. Or it's like, we're here on the biggest stage. I've been pointing towards CCC for the last 12 months. Let's take a big swing at it. Have you thought about those two polar opposite strategies?
Yeah, I think I'm doing both. I think in the race, you can learn a lot from your competitors and you can still come back, whether it's a good day or a perfect day, and you can come and do it better. Yeah. And I think what's really nice is there's a lot of veterans in this race. And I think that's helpful, that I don't feel anyone's going to do anything stupid on Friday. I feel like there's going to be a lot of calculated moves, a lot of people that know the course. And so I think it's trusting those people and trusting your competitors in a way. And then at the end of the day, it's, game time decision. There's a lot of strong women in there that I think it's not going to just be someone runs away with the race this year. I think you could see the race being very tight up to the very end. And so having to kind of be ready for that, not thinking that it's over before it is over. Or if someone makes a move that it can't come back.
Yep.
And so I think you can it's going to be a learning day for me, and I'd like to come back and execute it better, hopefully.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if something magical happens, I'm going to let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know.
What did you think about what I said earlier about how it's more of an execution game than a talent and fitness game? And is there specific things that you're thinking about in terms of execution that are maybe things that you didn't do focusing on shorter distance?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you about the talent versus the execution. I think you can like Eli said, you can get away with a lot. Yeah. We've even gotten away with a lot in the shorter distances. And so, like, I think you have to really tune in to, like, your race plan and your belief in what you're doing with the nutrition. You got to slow down to make calculations on the move. It can't be so much of, I like running hard, and you just turn off your brain and run hard.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of scenarios, but I think we'll just keep those to ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, Eli, feel free to build off that. But I'm also, like, there is a great history of Americans doing well at CCC. And there's a lot of great Americans in the race here this year. But, you know, we've seen Hayden win the race twice. We've seen Claire Gallagher win the race. You know, we've got Chris Myers, Drew Holman, Danny Moreno, you guys. I'm not looking at the whole list, but I think La Puma, etc. It's a great field. I don't know if you want to share anything about how you're thinking about things strategically, and if there's anything you're changing in terms of execution that might help you have a better race than you've had at JFK and Black Canyon. And again, I'm saying that with the ultimate respect and caveat of great results, but
I know.
I know you can do better. Yeah.
I'm very aware that those were not great days, and Tabor kind of yells at me for how badly I talk about those days. But I think, like, a lot of what we have done this block is actually going through situations that could arise and kind of mentally preparing for those. Kind of one of Tabor's things that she just keeps saying to me is adapt, not react. And so kind of one of those things of when something happens, you adapt to it. You don't just on a gut instinct, just like, all right, here we're going. Like if an attack goes, like, okay, well, let's stop and think about who it is, how they're looking. Before I do anything, I'm going to stop and assess situations. Mm-hmm. I'm not just going to kind of fling myself into every situation that I can. I want to have a good, strong day and not do anything stupid.
Yeah. All right, good for you. We just had Rod Farvard in the studio, and he made a cool comment that might be valuable for you guys. And that basically he was just like, it really all comes down to, because everybody's going to hurt, everybody's going to suffer. It's like, who can just manage the suffering just a little bit better? Like, how can you just manage the suffering a little bit better? And it is maybe, as you guys step up in distance, something to keep in the back of your heads. Of course, CCC is not the only race you're going to do while you're here in Europe, so we'll wind down by looking ahead to, I'm sure we'll do a pre-race interview in Confrog. You guys are both going to be representing the Stars and Stripes for the Short Trail World Championships next month. Share a little bit about how you're thinking about representing Team USA, and especially like doing the long distance, short distance back to back in 4 weeks. Tabor, we can start with you.
Yeah, I'm only thinking about CCC right now. And
Good answer.
getting through that one, but then, yeah, we're gonna stay after CCC and actually stay up in Les Houches because we were gonna make the trek back home, and then we started looking and we're like, can we make the flight back, recover at 8,000 feet, and then fly back and hope to race? And we figured, probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really honored to make Team USA just because I got off of resume because obviously Broken Arrow didn't go the way I wanted it to. And so I'm just super thankful that they had faith in me to put me on that team.
I mean, come on. You've earned your spot.
Yeah,
too,
but
Tabor.
still, there's a lot of great women in the US and a lot of great applicants. So it was really nice. Yeah. And I'm excited to be able to share it with Eli, both being out there having a good suffer fest in a new part of the world that we've never ran. Yeah.
Eli, anything you want to
add? Well, I think the biggest thing is that we're just trying to go day by day and see how we're feeling. We're not planning on getting huge training in between. Obviously, we only have a few weeks. So I think it's trying to recover as well as possible and hope that CCC in itself, if we can adapt to it, we can come back fitter. And I think it's
some super compensation.
Yeah, some super duper compensation.
Totally.
No, I think kind of, I'm looking at Worlds as it's, I'm thankful that it's as steep as it is because it's not super fast. So I don't think it's actually that hard of a race similarity. Like CCC, obviously being 100K, 10 hours for me, 12 hours for her, whatever. Yeah. It's not that fast. You're not ever running that fast. And so we haven't had to focus on that kind of training if we want to be specific. But then you have 12,000 feet in a marathon, you're not running fast. Yeah. So I don't think it's that different of a course in itself. It's just a bit shorter.
Well, it'll be fun for you guys too. And from everything I've heard, basically after UTMB, the Chamonix Valley is like a ghost town. So you'll, I think, be able to channel some chill vibes and hopefully be like celebrating great performances at CCC, letting that settle in, and then put on the red, white, and blue and go get some medals for us. Okay. No pressure.
That's the goal.
All right. We're trying. One race at a time. Good luck at CCC, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.